So today we are going through my favorite topic, all right? My pet peeve over here, which is about making inferences. And that's really, really important, right? Making inferences from the text. So with clues from the text, how can we make some intelligent guesses, right? How can we make some good guesses? And when we say good or intelligent, what we really mean is what is the most likely thing, all right, that's happening over here. Okay, so that's what we mean by good or intelligent guess, whether the possibility is high that it's true or not. So let's say, right, that perhaps Swati and Chloe, you're met for the first time, okay, in like you're new classmates, and you're met for the first time in class, and then um you all got to know each other, and then after school you decided to take the bus back home. Okay, and then but you still don't know a lot about each other, so you're just sharing with each other about what you like. Maybe Swati shares that she likes to read, her favorite series of books are Harry Potter, and then Chloe is like, oh, I really enjoy maybe K-pop, right? And then I really like the group Blackpink or something. And so they're sharing about their interests, right? And then Swati sees Chloe getting off the bus and then going home. And then the like getting off the bus and saying bye, that kind of thing. Then the immediate inference, right, is that, oh, Chloe lives nearby, right? Because Chloe got off here, she probably lives nearby. That's a likely possibility. So that is what we say, that's a good inference because it's a high possibility that Chloe lives around here. So a very low possibility is that Chloe is actually getting off the bus over here to um, maybe go work at one of the nearby supermarkets, right? Because she's underage, she can't. So that's a very, very low possibility that that's the case. If you are at this age, 13 years old, I think you are only allowed to work in fast food restaurants, and that's about it, with supervision from your supervisor. So that's like not a very likely possibility, right? So we say that's a bad inference. Same thing. It's raining outside. You see someone coming in. That person is drenched from head to toe. Best inference is that person, got drenched by the rain. That person forgot to bring his or her umbrella, right? A bad inference would be, oh, that person was that adult man, right, was actually playing with water guns with his friends outside, and they soaked each other. Number one, he's an adult, right? Can he play water guns? Yes, he can play water guns, definitely. But is it likely that he did it while wearing a business suit and then coming into the center, right, and causing himself to maybe catch a cold? No, that's not very likely. All right. Is it possible though? Yes, it's possible, but it's a very tiny possibility. So that's how we differentiate between a good inference and a bad inference, right? Basically, how likely is it that it's true, all right, or how unlikely is it that it's true, is the difference between a good and a bad inference. Okay, we'll look at that a little bit more later. So we're going to have a look at non-narrative comprehension later. Oops. All right, and then at the end, we're going to look and discuss a little bit about current affairs, which is updating everyone about some information that we think you should know so that you have good topics to discuss during oral and you have something to write about for your compositions. Let's start. So same thing, everyone, please turn on your videos at all times during this class and mute your microphones. All right, leave it muted. If you want to ask a question, use the chat function. If you want to answer a question, use the chat function as well. Share feedback, use the chat function. If you want to say something, all right, urgent, raise your hand using the Zoom function, raise hand. All right, and then I will call on you to unmute yourself and you can speak after that. If you need to go to the toilet, boys and girls, please don't unmute yourself or whatever. Just inform me using the chat, right? And say, Mr. Joel, all right, I want to go to the toilet, and then you can just go. You don't need to wait for me to say yes or no, just go. But remember, if you're going for a toilet break, you must leave your video on. If not, I won't know whether you're back in front of your camera or not, right? I'm not sure if you're going to spend the next 1 hour inside the toilet or something. So leave your cameras on at all time. Okay? And lastly, be mindful to be respectful to all students and teachers in the class. Let's start. So, non-narrative comprehension. All right. We can have inferences in that. We can have inferences for narrative comprehensions as well. Non-narrative comprehensions, normally we say that they are factual comprehensions. So they are normally based in the real world and stuff that actually happens in the real world. Okay, so what's an inference? Basically, like what I said, an inference is making an intelligent guess based on the clues you're provided in the passage. Okay. And an inferential answer means that you can't copy all the words from the text. You might have to rephrase it a bit in your own words, or you can explain it in your own way. All right. So, Wesley, what happened to you? How come it's a picture of an anime girl only? Varun and David, please leave your cameras turned on. And David, I've marked your proposal writing. Please check my comments and the marks I gave you online, all right, in your Google Docs. And Kirana, your room is pretty dark. Are you sure you can see properly? Okay, that's good. All right, so how do we answer inferential questions? All right, that's very important. So the answer can be found in the text, kind of, okay? But you should not be copying the main words. So when I say the main words, right, what I mean are don't copy the nouns, don't copy the verbs, don't copy the adjectives, and don't copy the adverbs. All right, those are the four main word classes. So you have to link the various parts in the text together in order to form a coherent answer. Most of the time for inferential questions, right, you don't just find it in one part of the text. So look out for the following connections. Okay, so look out for generalization, which basically means you apply, an idea, right, to most of the population you're talking about. So for example, I can say that, Singaporeans are often afraid to lose. In fact, they would love to compete at anything and come out on tops. But with that, there will always be those who do not come out on top. So what happens to them then? Today, we are going to explore the case where Singaporean students do not excel in their studies, what life paths are left for them, that kind of thing. So that's like a generalization. What's my generalization? All Singaporeans are competitive, which is not true, right? That's a generalization. Or if it's a specification, which means I'm being very specific, right? I'm picking at this particular group of people only, or I'm picking at this particular idea only. That's called specification. All right. Also, look for ideas in the entire passage that are linked together by consequence, which means one thing caused something else to happen. So perhaps at the beginning of the passage, we're talking, so maybe the whole passage is talking about environmental conservation, right? But at the beginning, they were mostly talking about different reasons why people might need to destroy the environment. And then the second half of the passage is telling you about the consequences, the results of destroying the environment, that kind of thing. But perhaps there's one that's very obviously linked to one reason at the front of the passage. So for example, at the front, they talk about humans need to produce plastic, right? Because we cannot remove ourselves from plastic anymore. If we do that, right, our society would crumble. So many things are made of plastic, from our wires, all right, to our spectacle frames, all the way to the bags that we use to carry our goods, right? Humans cannot be removed from plastic anymore, all right? But then at the end, right, maybe in the second last paragraph or whatever, they talk about plastic bottles killing turtles, or plastic bags killing turtles, because the turtles eat the plastic bags thinking that they are jellyfish, right? Which is part of the turtle's normal diet. And so if you can link that to the one in front, then you draw a connection there, you see, about humans' need for plastic. But because we produce so much plastic, we're actually causing animals to die in the wild, that kind of thing. So there's a link over there. All right. So that's like a consequence, like a, cause and effect kind of thing. Then look for ideas that are similar. Look for ideas that are different, right? Completely opposite to each other. All right, so same thing, look for cause and effect, right? That's basically the same as cause and consequence. Look for the purpose in introducing some ideas, and look for how the author actually explains some things or illustrates some things. So when we say illustrates, means the author gives examples. All right. And that's how you come up with your inferences. So how do you answer inferential questions? All right. It tests your thinking skills. Like what I said, do not copy, right? Do not copy from the passage. Observe the clues that you have and interpret the clues. All right. So you do have to look for clues in the passage and then come up with a reasonable guess. So let's have a look at this quick passage over here, passage page 1. We are on week 35, by the way. Another way in which our ignorance of shipping can be seen, another way in which our ignorance of shipping can be seen is in our ignorance about the companies that own ships. Could you name a shipping company? You probably know or have seen at least one name. Does that name Maersk ring a bell? You will have seen it on a container passing along the road on a lorry, or on ships if you have looked at them. Or maybe you saw the name on the massive containers at the dockside. Maersk is a Danish company, the Coca-Cola of the freight industry, with none of the fame. Its parent company is the largest company in Denmark. Its sales equal to a fifth of the country's GDP. Its ships use more oil than the entire nation. Yet, who knows anything about it? Right? Not many people. Like everyone knows Coca-Cola, but not everyone knows Maersk, right? So look at this. So just to specify a few parts over here, GDP stands for gross domestic product. This is a measurement of a country's strength of their economy, which basically is how much is that country producing, right, on average. All right, think about it that way. Gross domestic product is a good way to measure that country's economy and the health of the economy. All right, and over here, what do they mean by they are the Coca-Cola of the freight industry? So, which means what? Coca-Cola is what? Coca-Cola is highly successful, right, in the food and beverage industry. Food and beverage, we call it F&B for short. It's highly successful in the F&B industry. So this Maersk is like Coca-Cola, but instead of being in the F&B industry, they are in the freight industry. Okay? What is the freight industry? The freight industry are the shipping industries. Okay? So freight is different from courier. All right, courier industries will have brand names like what do you have? Singapore Post is considered a courier company, right? And then we have FedEx, right, which is Federal Express. That's a company, and a few others. But these are shipping companies. So they ship something, right, en masse in big containers that you all see, and they are filled from bottom to top, right, with products that people actually get from overseas to sell in their country and stuff like that, basically. Okay, and what else do we need to clarify here? Right, could you name a shipping company? Ring a bell. Ring a bell over here just means sounds familiar. All right. So, Maersk is actually a first name. Imagine a whole global company the size of Apple or Sony called Lionel or Lisa. Okay, so this is a very foreign concept in Singapore because there's no such thing as first name, middle name, and last name. But when we come to Western countries, right, they always start with their first name, then their middle name,